Guys, welcome back to the Hustler Podcast, episode 18 going down here. We've got Kyz, CoachKyz, Kerin, Karagianis on the podcast here. And Kyz, I'll let you introduce yourself actually.
For sure. Thanks for having me on, boys. It's a pleasure to be in this wonderful podcast studio. CoachKyz, Kerin, whatever you want to call me. Combat sports, S&C, and performance nutritionist for combat athletes worldwide. And we've got a bit of history. Should we get into it?
Yeah, where do we meet?
We met, it would have been powerlifting meet.
Yeah.
Maybe online through the old era of powerlifting.
I knew your brother first.
Yeah.
Through the powerlifting scene when we used to compete 2017 or 18 or 19. Yeah. And then I met you. And then I realised you were just the better brother. Sorry, bro. Nah, I'm joking.
We won't tell him.
But yeah, no, our relationship started through powerlifting, 100%.
Yeah.
You were under 83 or 90?
It would have been 90s, yeah.
Under 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were the weight classes?
But we competed in similar, I think the same comps at times.
Yeah, I think I started in 83 and then I bulked up. I forgot what the weight classes were, to be honest, but yeah, it was so long ago. Now I'm back to like the 85 range.
Yeah. Did you fight recently?
Last fight was July last year.
Yeah.
2024. Yeah.
What'd you fight at?
In terms of weight?
Yeah.
That was under 81 kilo.
Yeah.
But I also fought at 75 for the first two fights.
Wild.
As well. Yeah.
Wild. Anyway, that was a bit off, but powerlifting under 100s. You and your brother had a big deadlift.
Big, yeah.
Your younger brother had a big deadlift.
George definitely had a big deadlift, yeah.
What was your strongest lift? It was deadlift, yeah?
Yeah, it was. My best was in comp was like 265.
Yeah.
But in training 270. Yeah. 600 pounds.
Did you love powerlifting?
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing it, yeah, but then I fell out of love with it for sure. But yeah.
Why?
I think the seed that I planted with being a spectator of combat sports just grew exponentially, and I don't know. I feel like deep down I knew my body was meant for more than just lifting in that one plane, and I kind of used it as an excuse throughout my journey, studying and training to. I thought I was healthy just because I lifted heavy. But I knew I could tap into something a bit better, and I loved the cardiovascular side of training. And I thought, what better way to do it than to get into Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and go hard.
Yeah. What did you start with?
In terms of combat sports,
yeah.
I started Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai at the same time, and then I did them for 6 months each, and just went down the Muay Thai route because BJJ is a bit.
Did you cut powerlifting like straight away?
Yeah. It was like it was a pretty abrupt change.
Yeah.
I remember I did a cutting phase from 93 to 80, and that was like, as soon as I hit that target, it was also like the same point I joined a gym, 2 different combat sports gyms, and just never looked back since then.
That's hectic.
What inspired the beginning of it? What was it, spectating, or you always watched it as a kid, or?
I was spectating, and I'd look at the way athletes would move, and I found it so fascinating. So I was like, Alex Delaporta's my old powerlifting coach used to get pissed off at me for this, but I'd always add on like heavy bag work at the end of my powerlifting sessions, and then I'd be wondering why my fucking total didn't increase for like six months to a year. But I ended up realizing I was just getting so distracted by the heavy bag. I built a bit of a passion for it. That was kind of when I first got into transitioning my coaching approach to combat sport athletes as well. Started planting the seed for that, whether it be through content and just reaching out to people who were in the space as well. But yeah.
Did you convert any powerlifters to combat sport? Any of your clients come with you on that journey?
I can't say that. No.
I feel like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is like
Jiu-Jitsu.
BJJ is what I always call it. Is like just standard hand in hand. You're a powerlifter.
Yeah,
a lot of them do BJJ.
That was one of the reasons I didn't go down I didn't stick with the jiu-jitsu route, because there were so many athletes in powerlifting that they were average at powerlifting. Like myself, I wasn't crazy in the powerlifting space. They went into jiu-jitsu and just made that their personality. They were also average there as well.
That's Cam.
But and there's nothing wrong with that. I did the same thing with Muay Thai. Like I was an equivalent, like typical jiu-jitsu journey. Someone's going to do like 6 competitions maybe. I did 6 amateur fights, same sort of thing. But I just decided to go down the striking route instead of hugging guys for an hour, getting sweaty. So.
I did a BJJ session once. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before with Jake and Pavlu, and like I went too hard, way too hard, and I was like dead after.
Oh yeah,
like gone, no skill, just like strength.
You had to pull over, didn't you?
I had to pull over and have a nap.
Oh yeah,
I had to just go because I felt like I was just gonna vomit. Like I felt so sick because I didn't like do any sort of high intensity cardio, and like as much as like you watch people like grapple and whatever, like you're like, oh, that's easy, why don't they do this? Like, man, it's hard work. Like, and I was like really like trying to pull my leg. I was like RP10, like, no, you're not pulling my leg. So I was like going hard, and I was gassed from like the first minute or two.
I resonate with that a lot. When the first like few months of my transition to both Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu was horrendous, man. Like I knew I had to go all in, and I was going to get injured because of that. I knew I had the strength. I was probably stronger than a lot of the guys in there, but they call it the gentle art as well. Like there are weaker guys that can flip you over, pin you, destroy you, and you're sitting there breathing out of your ass. You thought you were an athlete, but it really exposes you. Like if you think you're an athlete because you lift heavy,
no way.
Jump into a combat sports gym and you'll realize there's a whole other world out there for sure.
I couldn't bench after that for like 3 weeks. My shoulders were just gone. They were just killing me. Just so annoying because I wanted to like pursue it once a week with Jake at this place in Moorabbin area, and I was just like, nah, I can't bench. Like the shoulders just could not hold it.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for you anyway.
Yeah, for me, the shoulder's something we've got to like try really hard to stay a step ahead of. 100%. The left one's just, it needs direct work.
100%.
This guy knows.
How was the process swapping over from powerlifting into combat sports? Was it like you pretty much walked away from everything, or was there any crossover in terms of skills or anything that you'd learned or strength, or how was it?
In terms of the strength and conditioning outside of combat sports, you're obviously still going to take away from the strength aspect of powerlifting, which is something powerlifters do really well. Like that's an advantage. There's an advantage there. As a powerlifter, you'll always be able to maintain that strength and hypertrophy base for the rest of your journey because you've lifted for so long. But the thing I struggled with was obviously balancing that initially with the big influx of that new training load from combat sports, because it just kills you in a whole other way. Like you mentioned, you were wrecked having a nap on the side of the road. That feeling doesn't really go away for a good few months until you adapt to the demands.
So what did you do? Did you have any strategies?
It was like I realized I was like the expectation I had based on my knowledge with the degree, with the exercise science degree and all the knowledge I have in regards to strength and conditioning, I had to really lower my expectations, because what you read in the textbook in university is how you're pretty much learning how to formulate strength and conditioning approach for a sprinter, a field-based athlete. There's tangible things you can see that can improve in their performance, whether it be 100-meter sprint time improving. For a combat sport athlete, the demands are so dynamic that you really have to lower your expectations and lower volume overall, for sure. Like for me, it was like 2 sets of each main movement pattern, RPE 6 maximum, still incorporating jumping, lifting, throwing, bending, rotating, resilience work, some sprint interval training, but
no squat, bench, dead.
There was SBDs, it was for sure, but you're just doing it in different variations.
To box.
Yeah. Like there's the whole conversation about. I mean, there's the whole conversation about combat sport specific movements. Like I didn't really go down that route. It was more just do the same things you're used to that you're efficient with. Just change the velocity of the movement, change the total dosage of volume so you're not destroying yourself, and then let your body sort of catch up over time.
So that's also just the best way to develop as an athlete, yeah? Like the whole idea of sport-specific movements, it's dead.
100%.
The old school thing
it's
of
not dead. It's rubbish, but like people still do it.
Yeah. More so dead as in like if you are in line with what you should be doing, it's rubbish.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. That's one of the problems in the combat sports S&C space now. There's a big influx of people. One of the things I'm trying to combat against with the content I put out is helping people understand that the weight room is for general physical preparation, and no matter what model you're following in terms of periodization, whatever it is, there should probably never be a replication of the skill in the weight room. Like,
correct.
The skill is the most important thing. The way you keep it, the most important thing, is by only doing it where it's scarce in the Muay Thai gym, the jiu-jitsu mats. Leave it there, practice it there. work on physical general qualities in the weight room.
Yeah, and I think people mix up like like for example, soccer and kicking and training your hip flexors. There's like you can do like a cable straight leg raise where you're raising that leg up against resistance. People are like, oh, it's like you're like kicking a ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you just take kicking the ball out of the equation, that's how you train hip flexion with a long lever.
Yeah.
Like that's actually just how you train it. It's not that way because of the soccer kick. It just happens to be a similar movement.
It's not even similar though.
Yeah, it's not. It's really, it's
like ribs down, butt buckle up, knee flats.
Yeah.
When you're kicking the ball, you're extended, you're rotated.
People mix it up. People like just skim over that with their eyes and they go, "Oh, that's a sport-specific move. That's why he's doing this." And it's like, nah. Like if you had a client that was a soccer player, combat sport athlete, whatever, programs might look a little bit different. But like when we're training muscles and joints, we're training muscles and joints. Like it's we're not thinking, oh, do I need to be able to kick the ball in this angle? So we need to train
It's actually the same. It's actually the same with powerlifting.
Same with
like
everything.
Like you hear people like, oh, I want to hack squat so I can like get better at squatting. It's like, dude, you're just training your quads, man. Like you're just building bigger quads in hack squats. Like you're not trying to replicate anything that you're going to do on the day. You're just literally getting stimulus on the quads in a way where they're going to get the most stimulus. You're not going to fatigue your back and glutes and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, like absolutely. You squat and you get better at squatting by squatting, just like you said before.
Yeah.
You get better at the skill by doing the skill in your skill sessions.
Absolutely.
Not by doing some weird rotation, functional pattern shit.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
sorry, Danny, but I'm actually not sorry, brother.
If you think about the actual skills that you're expressing in a sport, like most time there's going to be a fair bit of variance, even if it's the same skill. Like in soccer, the ball might be in a slightly different point on the floor. In a combat sport, you're probably not going to throw a punch exactly the same every time, depending on what an opponent's doing.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to like replicate the exact same skill to like strengthen that skill, it's kind of like, well, how you actually perform the skill is different.
Yeah.
In the sport anyway.
All you're doing is placing a constraint on the pattern you can do properly in the actual martial arts gym. And all we're doing is building robust bodies, building our energy system capacities and capabilities, improving time to exhaustion. Like these are the things we want to focus on in the weight room. I don't want to see a landmine punch ever again, or a banded punch. I can't do it. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. So skills in your skill sessions, all that sort of stuff. Training in the gym, like what's a good example of, I guess, a workout or what you would do with someone? Yeah,
100%. It's also going to depend on the athlete's schedule in front of me and the sport they do as well. If it's a jiu-jitsu guy, we're probably going to focus on more external rotation of the hips, a lot of spinal flexion, making those I guess patterns and areas of the body a lot more robust and resilient to withstand the demands of rolling or playing guard, for example. But generally, across all combat sport athletes I coach, I make slight tweaks. We're following the vertical integrated model. We're working all physical qualities all year round with a different emphasis on some over the others, depending on how far we are out from a competition or fight. But typically, the way I like to look at it, and then how I individualize it for an athlete: jumping, throwing, lifting, bending, rotating, resilience work, sprint interval training. That's pretty much twice a week, different focuses on each day. The sprint interval training is often the same, so we can just really work on that quality in that block, and then that's pretty much it.
Did you have this skill set for S&C programming before you got into combat sports and before you sort of pivoted as a coach?
To be honest, before I started coaching combat sport athletes around 2.5 years ago, my outlook was a whole lot different. It was very traditional. I think I had the advantage of coming from powerlifting, understanding that in powerlifting the linear periodization model was flawed in a sense. It has its benefits. The same thing kind of applies in combat sports. If you were to just go, 6 weeks of hypertrophy, 6 weeks of strength, then speed and power, and like the other qualities aren't in any of those other phases, we're just going to detrain the other qualities. So what's the point? That's what I figured out, and try to apply with all my athletes now to make sure they're ready year round, essentially. Yeah.
How did you, I guess, pivot from obviously coaching mostly like powerlifting clients, body comp focused clients, into more combat sports S&C? Because I guess like if people to look at your messaging then and what you're posting, it's probably more centered around strength sports and body comp. So I guess, yeah, how did you go like attracting clients from a completely different demographic there?
Yeah, great question. It all just came down to obviously making content that stood out to my ideal client personality. Like you mentioned, it's the content in the past used to be centered around body comp, strength training. Now I just you can see my content, like I get in people's faces, I get real specific, and I was able to get specific. Yeah, like you have to these days, because I mean, credit to my athletes for taking the jump to work with me, but a lot of the guys I have coached, I've connected with them because I tapped into the whole TikTok brain culture now, but I'm glad I did, because now I've been able to connect with athletes globally with the aggressive content strategy, and I'm working with them now and improving their lives and performance. But the shift was pretty much using my own experience, what I felt, what I struggled with, because going through cutting for fights myself, going through stepping in the ring, it allowed me to script the content a lot better and really target them for sure.
You've got good social proof too.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. And that works. I think social proof is very important. You've got the results, and every time we make videos, there's always, like, generally always social proof in the videos, and that stuff works fantastically. So you're not just like preaching to someone, you're actually showing them we've done it. Yeah. These are the results that we get. So I reckon that helps heaps.
What's 100%. The difference that you see in like the industry around, I guess, kind of your approach versus a traditional approach? I guess the specifics around, volumes, what types of training they're doing, and I guess the second part of that question would be like, what do you actually think really needs to change, like specifically?
What really needs to change is, I guess, people being boxed in to that old approach, like you mentioned. There are a lot of athletes I talk to on the daily that, think it's enough to just go and lift on the side and then train their combat sport, and people are sort of half in, half out.
You disagree with their lifting style, you mean?
Yeah, like most people are still just in the gym, like just doing push-pull legs. Like especially those who are transitioning from, say, there's a big influx of people coming from strength sports into combat sports, and they don't really. The benefit is they're strong, but they're not tapping into other qualities they could be.
They don't understand that.
Yeah,
they don't understand,
which is fine. That's what I release my content for, and what I try to change, and can't help absolutely everybody, but if there's one thing I want to do over the next few years is help people see they can really improve their physical capacities and make that transition smoother, avoid drastic mistakes, because combat sports are so dynamic. You really got to be cautious with the amount, like you mentioned, volume. People typically that come to me are overtraining, under fueling, and it's just a perfect storm for injuries to happen. You burn out. They have the ambition to do an amateur fight. All of a sudden it's gone because they just don't have the right guidance and too many moving parts as well. Yeah, that's a big issue as well. There's a lot of moving parts, and people try to do it themselves. And
I see it all the time in the clinic. Like the combat sport athletes that I've worked with, it's all overuse injuries. Every single one, and like you get them to talk you through their training program or their schedule over a regular week, and it's just like no rest, minimal calories, like just ridiculous. Like I'd argue they're in a deficit most of the time. They're like just absolutely obliterating themselves every session. They'd have. From my perspective, at least, what I've gathered is they have no understanding of how less is more sometimes, and how high quality trumps quantity, especially when you're an athlete that's trying to not only fight but do all the right things in the gym. And it's not that these guys don't have the right intentions a lot of the time, and they're actually like a lot. This is another thing that I've noticed. They're so dedicated. They are so dedicated to it. It's crazy. They'll eat. I've had one guy, like, he was literally eating every meal was like chicken rice, and because his coach wanted him to cut weight. He was skin and bone, man. Wanted him to cut weight further to get into lower weight class for his next fight, and his body was just breaking down. And I'm like, man, this is a really important conversation you need to have with your coach. You need to probably do some bloods and actually see where things are at, and if everything is in check, because you've been eating like this for months. Your body's breaking down. I think he was having issues with sleeping as well.
Yeah.
Just random things.
I think this whole year I've taken a lot of consultations with new athletes this year, and I think I haven't gone a single week without at least one athlete saying either what you just went, or describing what you just went through there, which is making weight by putting themselves in an aggressive calorie deficit and just making things way too hard, unnecessarily hard, just to make the weight, and they're literally just dieting down like they would for a bodybuilding show. Or they've conflated dedication with essentially an eating disorder, like
big
chicken
time.
rice. That's it. Oh, why haven't I made weight properly? And why did my last cut suck? Because you're not open to the idea that maybe you don't have to eat bland food and cut out whole food groups. You know, there's a better way to do things, and you scroll a couple of reels on my page, you'll see my athletes they're eating 4 to 5 meals a day on fight week. Whereas if I tell these athletes who I consult with that same thing, they're gobsmacked. But yeah, there's a good shift happening now. I'm blessed to be a part of that shift in terms of helping combat sport athletes improve the longevity of their careers. That's so important, and
perform better.
100%.
Stay on their feet for more months of the year, because they always hurt. I coached 2 UFC fighters, or like not at the UFC, but they did
MMA
mixed martial arts. And it was just the same sort of thing. Like, it was off season, just put on 5-10 kilos. Then we just booked a comp in for 2 months, we need to drop 12-13 kilos. It's like, man, you could be halfway there if you just maintain good body composition. They would never let me have their training, so I would only do their nutrition. They wouldn't let me have their training, and so shoulders were gone, hips were gone, everything was gone, and it was just a general consensus, which is sort of spoken about, but just to put it like blatantly, it's like more is better always with that like traditional approach. And they would get on in the octagon, which I'm sure most people would, with some sort of niggle, but like actual pains, right? And like 100% that the last 5 kilos they're trying to lose a day before, and it could be 2, is definitely going to affect their performance the next day. Plus the injuries, plus how hard they've worked. Mentally they're at the end, and they need to be at their best on that day. And it's just that traditional approach. I just saw it. I'm just like, man, just give me a program. Like, let me do your programming for you, at least. Give me like technique feedback at least.
100%.
Because they were doing stuff where I'm just like, man, like. A lot of this is like, not everything's avoidable, but a lot of it was avoidable in my opinion. So
100%.
I hope it's moving away from that traditional approach.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go as far to say that, like, there's no real evidence for this, but if you took every single combat sport athlete, you taught them how to utilize things like RPE in the weight room properly, like lift with intention, not go to failure, eat for a substantial time during the year at maintenance or above, and realize that it'll actually help them make weight easier, and show them what that looks like in terms of the volume of food they can actually eat, how much better they can feel week in, week out. You're probably going to end up seeing more athletes draw in all organizations and get, you'll see a lot more decision wins and split decision wins, a lot more competition. You're still going to, ideally, you're still getting the knockout wins everywhere, but you're going to see the pool of athletes
get better.
The whole quality, it'll raise the whole quality of the sport.
With just a few basic tweaks, that people don't realize, like it's an afterthought for a lot of people. Which
we chat about it all the time. Like, it's a massive thing in all kind of, I'd say a lot of sports. I won't say all, because there's maybe some that are really good at it, but most sports suffer with from that stuff, like not understanding what to do in the weight room, not understanding what to do with the nutrition, and it ends up creating an issue for their performance more than anything else. But combat sports is so far along the end of the spectrum there, where it's like, it's almost like leading the charge in just how badly they do it.
They got to be tracking their nutrition, man. Sorry if that was
no, 100%. Fully agree.
They have to be tracking the nutrition. You're in a weight class sport, and not just like powerlifting weight class where you've got to be like 93 kilos, but you can be like fat if you want. But like, you actually have to be in a weight class sport where, to be super competitive, your opponent's most likely as well cutting down to a lower weight class in those final weeks. Like, you have to be on top of your nutrition. 100%. If you're not, you're just like completely missing the whole point of the whole thing.
Absolutely, especially in a sport where it's psychology and how mentally resilient you are matters the most. Like, you increase the odds of winning going up against someone who can handle all those old school methods when you personally can't. Like there are going to be people for the rest of the time that just make weight the way they want to make weight because they're stubborn, they have a pack mentality, they're coaches, they're loyal to their skills coaches, and they swear by it. It worked for them. There's a bit of survivorship bias there. Okay, my coach told me I can make weight like this. I'm going to do it like this for the rest of my career. That person might even become a UFC champion. It can happen.
Yeah, but that could just be their gift.
Exactly right. But that's what I'm saying is every other athlete is going to look at that and go, I'm going to do what they do. But that's where coaches like myself have to step in and pull the reins on some people and say, hey, this can work for them. We don't know if it's going to work for you. This is what
chances are it won't. Yeah,
it probably won't. Yeah, probably won't. And there's a comment I left on a video that recently of someone talking about the good old days of Muay Thai training, the golden era of Muay Thai, which is a beautiful era, a pivotal era of Muay Thai training where they ran 10 kilometers in the morning, they trained 3 hours of skills midday, they nap in the afternoon, they train for 2 hours again in the evening, and they run 5Ks at night, 5 days a week. Right?
At least they got that nap in there, man.
Yeah, 100%. And
that'd be
that's huge. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
And that is the footage of that. The footage of that's beautiful. They're all super skillful. You got some of the best Muay Thai fighters.
Huge G up watching that.
It's amazing. And you should try at one point in your career go through hard training like that. But obviously, there's a flaw with that. You got for every golden era athlete that has a Muay Thai belt that has paved the way in terms of skill. There's also I'd say 10 or 15 of athletes that were in the same gym as them, same cohort, that have injuries for the rest of their life that may not be the healthiest older adults because of that training.
Well, they could have given up. Yeah,
exactly. And it's still apparent now in some parts of Thailand. But end of the day, if you can take the skill development aspect of that training, and you give an athlete more calories, better sleeping habits, especially in this day and age, most athletes just suck at sleeping well because of the TikTok brain, like I mentioned earlier. You give them better sleeping habits, you make them more resilient in the weight room. Literally like 2 sessions a week is all they need. Swipe away a bit of that extra running volume you're doing. Like I've taken athletes from coming to me, burnt out after like 6 amateur fights. They've had enough of how they're feeling. They come from a gym that may still take that traditional approach, and there's a lot of them out there still. Heaps. That their coaches will tell them, you have to run 10 kilometers every morning. You got to come in and train 3 hours every evening. And then when I'm the first thing I do when I get an athlete like that, I'll literally contact their coach. Be like, hey, your athlete's hired me. I want to open you up to the idea of this. We're going to try it. If he doesn't feel better, your athlete can fire me. I don't care. It's fine. Literally like 3 weeks in, we make 2 small changes. We map out a plan where they're actually eating enough calories for the demand that they're going through. We take away some of their running volume. Maybe they went from 6 days running a week to 3 days, and one of those days is more of a threshold run or a tempo-based treadmill protocol, and we add in 2, even 30-minute S&C sessions. Game changer for them. Absolute game changer. 3-week turnaround, and then that same athlete that I'm talking about, there's a few examples on my team at the moment. I'm working with them, a year and a half later, and that in itself could have been the difference between them quitting the sport next year versus having a 10 to 15 year long career.
So does a coach recontact you after a few weeks and say, hey, he's improving? Or
100%. Yeah, because
that's a good feeling.
I'm 100% confident in the system I've developed for athletes, and I'll go out on my shield. And if there's some sort of, I've had scuffles with coaches in the past, that don't believe in it. They don't believe it. What are you believing? You're believing in good habits for fighters. It's fine. Give it a chance. I hope more coaches will for their athletes, and more coaches can have an open mind, and then bang, you'll see the improvements.
How can someone even sustain it? Like a normal, like when I say normal, it's probably the wrong thing to say, but like a person who works a normal, like a job, how can they do 3 hours of skills in the middle of the day, run 10 kilometers or 15 in the morning, run 5 at night? How can they have that nap in the? How is that even possible for like anyone who at least lives in Australia? Like unless they're, I mean, maybe if you go pro and you're getting money, at least getting income,
it's barely possible. Maybe
it's not possible. Like how?
And that's the thing. A lot of fighters, they do this because they want it to be their career to set up the rest of their life potentially. When I tell athletes that you could replace all your running volume with 2 to 3 sprint interval training sessions per week that total like 15 minutes of training, and you get a better benefit from that in terms of your time to exhaustion metrics on a testing protocol compared to the running you're doing, which is just the same bullshit adaptation, you know, that you already tap into in your pad work, your bag work. You know, when I tell them that, imagine how it's going to make an athlete feel who's been slogging along 4 hours a day when they can actually like show up for their family now. Some of these guys have kids. Some of them have jobs they got careers they have to handle. They want to make it work because they got one life. They want to make the most of it. When you open them up to the idea of it and you let them feel it, it's a game changer, and it's a career shifting change. It's not just because the science says so. It can impact all parts of your life as an athlete.
I can see as well, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can see like people putting this as like their thing in life. Maybe youngsters getting into it, and they lose their ability to progress. They don't have a plan B. Like, they put everything towards their fighting. They don't work a normal job. They might be casual or part-time or whatever. This is what I assume would happen with this ideology. And they do their 3 hours and all that sort of crap. They don't have an opportunity to progress in their career to become, I mean, if they're a male, to become someone who can provide for a family in the future. I'm just going to speak for males here, I guess. But like, they don't have the opportunity to progress, to bring up their income. And then if they don't make it, because maybe that approach, or maybe they just don't have it, then 5, 10, it's pretty hard for someone to come out of that. I'm going to push everything to make it. You got to believe you're going to make it if you're going to do all that. Come out of that and then just be a normal functioning person in society that works a 9-to-5 job. But you're starting from what I would assume would be close to zero in the bank account. Like, is that something you see?
Well, 100%. And I think these days you've got to take inspiration from the greats who actually went all in. Like, you look at Marab, you look at Demetrius Johnson, you look at Ilia Topuria, you look at a lot of the athletes from the last 10 years who've become champion. At the highest level, they at one stage of their career decided, I'm all in. But what that means is I'm also going to juggle like a full-time job at the same time to be able to get the strength and conditioning coach, hire the nutritionist. I'm going to go all in on content creation, and you know, show people I have value in the space, because now fighting it's a corporate model. It's a business, right? You have to market yourself, and you can either sit back as an athlete and go, I don't like this, I want to do it my way, and then just burn out, or you can adapt like anything else in life and either get a job on the side, working, I don't know, security, starting your own thing, taking a punt on yourself and maximizing your performance. Because I can't tell you how many athletes who've consulted with me that are quoting Ilia Topuria quotes on the call with me and saying they want to be the best, and then they work a job and they're in a position to invest in themselves, but because it's like a new big hard thing for them to do, and it's uncomfortable, and it's the next chapter for them, you know,
they can't make the right decision for themselves.
They can't. It's a problem, you know. I think a lot of athletes that don't make it, they're more in love with the idea of success. Like any business, like any part of life, business, whatever, even in powerlifting, you're more in love with the idea of making a certain amount of money, achieving a certain title, rather than doing the work required for it, you know. So,
or paying the money required for the support that you need to 100%. Get there. It's the same thing that we see on a daily basis.
You're paying either way, right? You're paying either way. Either you can invest in a coach, whether it's me or someone else, or you can pay with your time. You can pay with the fact that, you know,
you failed.
That
costs more.
100%.
That costs more.
Yeah. It's a cost versus price sort of thing. This is the price.
We've seen the same sales videos, haven't we?
100%.
What you pay is what you pay today, and the cost of not doing it is the other cost.
What's the cost of inaction? Exactly right. I mean, sales in the end is service, in my opinion, and you know, I don't know how people run their businesses out there, but for me, like, I love connecting with an athlete on the call, reflecting on where they've been, what they, you know, and seeing an athlete make the move to get guidance from what I think in the modern day as an athlete is one of the more important investments you can make in yourself, which is getting a strength and conditioning coach and nutritionist. Again, whether it's me or someone else, there's many of us out there now, thankfully, that are changing and paving the way for combat sport athletes. Pick one, don't think about it, go for it, and you will not regret it, because you know you can go through my page as well. Like Lockie mentioned earlier, the social proof is there. It's there.
And
for
how
a
do they
reason.
reach out to you as well?
Yeah.
They just message you?
Oh, how do they reach out to me? Oh, Instagram, CoachKyz. I keep it all in one place. Yeah. TikTok as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like not to toot my own horn or do anything like that, but
Nah, toot it.
maybe I should, man. Honestly,
Toot it a little
because I'm sick of seeing some athletes say they want something, but then they can't take the step to actually do it. You know, it's it's not something you. Everything else in your life as a combat sport athlete, you're not really thinking about it much. You're just going, you're doing it, and that's a respectable quality not many people have. If you can do the same thing, if you've got an investment ready to go, it's just sitting there doing nothing. And this applies in any facet of life. Just take the fucking leap.
But they don't have the support to even probably unleash that quality. Right?
Yeah.
Like they might be doing it on their own or in the traditional model or whatever, and they might not even have the support that they need to actually unlock that. I'm going to call it a skill.
Yeah.
Right? To want something, but then actually know how to put a plan into place so that you actually have the best chance of actually getting to where you want to go.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I can't sit here and say that every single athlete who's invested in my services that gets the help from me succeeds.
Yeah.
End of the day, you have to become the guarantee.
Yeah.
Right? The only thing that you're doing by giving a coach your investment is you're making the commitment. You're going to get resources. You're going to get the approach tailored to you. It's all going to be amazing. But if you still can't show up for yourself and follow the plans that's set out to you, then you're probably also not doing the same thing in the skills room either. And there's, it's unfortunate because, the biggest reason people quit the sport would be burnout, would be overwhelm, and I think if people get in early enough, they can avoid that. And
when you say get in early enough, you mean get the right support early enough?
For sure.
I agree. It's the same with all the shit we do. Same shit.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm saying it like I've gone through this myself. Like I lost my first 2 amateur fights when I stepped in there. I wanted to feel what my athletes feel, and
that's why you lost.
I lost. Maybe it was meant to be. They were fun and rewarding experiences though. But what the direction it steered me towards was actually dropping my ego. Okay, I know what to do. I just need to do it. I've got the exercise science degree. I've got the sports nutrition certifications. I already know what to do. But when you're looking at everything in your own life introspectively, and there's so many moving parts, like how am I supposed to juggle building my coaching business, fighting, my nutrition, my strength and conditioning, I'm one person. You're spread thin. Like you can only focus on so many things at once. And then when I went out to reached out back to a mentor that was training with me at the same time, who had a similar skill set to me, not even as much of an experienced coach as me at the time, but I paid him money and said, offload this from my brain so I can put more into my skills training, and I can follow this plan and put less mental capacity into periodizing all this stuff, whatever it may be, and analyzing how I'm doing things. And all of a sudden, there goes a 4-fight win streak after that. So, and I think a big part of that was making the leap to or making the decision rather to drop my ego and get help.
I think I've mentioned it like maybe on the podcast probably 45 times, but like
psoriasis.
Nah, not yet. But like, I think like people can pen and paper, man. Like, what are your like priorities in life, right? For these people, like fighting would be at the top, right? So, and I think I've mentioned on the podcast at least 100 times. But for me, it's like gym, cars, fishing, some holidays, right? They're like my top 4 things. And like obviously having relationships here, but they don't need financial commitment to have relationships within my workplace and like enjoy what I do. But these top 4 commitments, you best believe I'm spending money on them.
100%.
Like, what the hell is the point of life if you're not investing into your priorities, whether they're a hobby, whatever the hell it is? What's the point of life? You work to what? Save?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of that? Work to live as well, man. Like, we're working so we can live our lives. If your priority is to be a fighter, I mean, and if you can't work out if your priority is to be a fighter, you're doing like more than 10 hours of like specific fighting stuff and you eventually want to get in the octagon. Yeah. Like, dude, it's a pretty high priority. You spend 10 hours a week fighting. What's the other thing you spend more time on? Work. That's it.
Absolutely.
Like, your top 2 priorities, and like maybe family. Like, if it's anything in your top 4, you got to be investing in yourself.
100%.
100%. Like you're going to get there faster
If you want to see success.
Well, I mean, well, we're assuming that these people want
That's
to
the
succeed
thing.
in something.
People are too attached in all realms of life to the fact that a digital number has come out of their bank account and it's no longer there anymore. But if you detach from that, you're guaranteed to see a return.
What's the pain that you feel? What's the cost of the pain that you feel after a year of not getting there? Like, if someone's like, you're not going to get any bigger, you're going to train hard for it. You're going to do it on your own. You're not going to invest in someone or whatever that can help you, or you're not going to invest in the squat shoes that you need, or you're not going to just invest in a good gym or whatever the hell it is. I guarantee you at the end of the year, if I got nowhere or I maybe gained 1%, I'd be like, dude, I'd literally pay $5,000 right now to have that extra 30 kilos on my total, or the extra 3 kilos. I'd pay $5,000 here and there. And I guarantee you most people would say, if they truly reflect and just like not just like, whatever, it'll be all right, that sort of thing. If they truly reflect, I guarantee you people are like, I would pay to be there now. 100%. But you don't have to do it after. You can just say, all right, what do I need to do to get there? I can invest in a coach. I can go to a good gym. I can blah, 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 and invest my money. You can do it at the start of the year so that you actually get the whole year to do that. I guarantee you the cost of not getting there is way more expensive than the cost of paying people and gyms and or whatever the hell it is, good food, to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guaranteed. 100%. Work another job.
Absolutely.
To get there.
End of the day, like, what if it is hard, right? Tough fucking luck. There's a way around it. There's a way around it. Like I've seen it all, man. Like I've seen the average athlete based on I've got to have taken like over 250 consultations this year alone, and the average athlete that maybe I still follow on Instagram, they're in the pipeline. I might pop in and see what they're doing, like maybe 6 months down the line. The same athlete who was scared to let go of an investment. I could have said anything to them at the end of the phone call when I told them what package would suit them and how we're going to progress forward and laid out the plan for them. I could have said to them it was $50 and they would have been like, oh, let me think about it, sort of thing, because it's money. But that's how the human brain is wired. It's wired to protect and keep you coddled and safe, and because that's what you've done this whole time leading up to this point. Now, if you want a different result, you have to obviously make a different decision to see a different 100%. Result. And you look back on them and you're on their story. They've bought new fresh winning gloves. They bought a new iPhone. Like we're going to spend money on things we value. In the end, if you reflect on your journey and you haven't progressed much, you haven't achieved that title you've wanted, and that you set out the goal for 2 years ago, it's your fault. It's your fault. You've made decisions to get to that point, and sure, you're not guaranteed to get there either if you invest in an S&C coach and nutritionist, but you're probably going to improve. Like you'll probably improve your chances of 100%. Winning a fight because you're a better athlete.
Yeah. This is where I think sales comes into it completely, right? Because a lot of people don't know actually how to make the right decision, right, for their goals. And we see it all the time. And so like sales has got this whole thing that like it's this manipulation tactic, and like just mind you, like sales, I believe are like sales, like people that do sales are pretty up there with some of the highest paid people in the world for sure, different industries and stuff like that, as employees, and so they don't know how to make the decision for themselves, and this is where I think the sales process is so important, right? Like you look at someone and they go, I've tried this, I've tried that, it's not working, it makes me feel like this, I want to be able to do this, I can't do this, when I have a bad day when I'm training, I can't even show off on my kids, and then you're like, all right, well, it's on the other end of $200 is like, what will get you, I guess, out of this sort of mind frame, and they go, oh, this other guy's $70. And you're just like, all right, go to the other guy. Like, if it was $0, who would you choose? Like, this is just like classic sales. Like, if it was $0, who would you choose? You, okay.
But that same person won't even go back to that $70 person anyway. They're what they're addicted to, without knowing, and what they think is productive is just talking to a bunch of people for information,
and not actually making that first step.
Information without implementation is bullshit.
Fluffing.
It's absolutely.
We
fluffing.
see it like non-stop, man.
Yeah.
Like we're just like, we will help you. Even if you do 20% of what like we tell you to do, like bugger all of it.
I've always said as well, in like the whole health and fitness space, even in the rehab space, like there's this
same thing.
I don't know where it came from, but there's this like ingrained belief in most people that they just think that they can do it on their own, and it's like, well, when you say like you can do it, like you can get yourself to a fight on your own, yeah? You can cut weight on your own. You know, you can probably Google some strategies and all that kind of thing. But how are you going to be on the day you fight? You're going to feel like shit, probably look like shit. Your body's going to, you know...
Well, no, but they could do a good job.
They might, could do, yeah, but chances are.
Yeah. The question, I think, is
knowledge.
Where could they have gotten?
Yeah,
like,
correct.
where could they have been compared to where...
And that thought's always going to be in the back of your mind as a fighter coming in to the ring, the cage, onto the mats. Deep down, you know, because your favourite athlete has a team around them that has helped them offload that information and implementation off their brain. You know deep down that there's maybe something you missed. Maybe something you could have tweaked and done a little bit better. Because you're not going to be able to see everything yourself.
Yeah. I mean...
imagine the weight of that before you're hopping in to the ring with an opponent who's trained. You're essentially getting as close to death as possible, legally, through the cutting and through fighting another athlete.
Yeah.
You know, imagine having that thought coming. That can be the difference.
Do you think they even think of it? Do you think that the I mean, I might be just generalizing, but the standard fighter, like, you've got to have a level of ego. You've got to believe you're going to kill this next person if you can. Like, you're going to try and take him out, like, knock him out, or whatever you got to do.
Sure.
They've got this, like, I guess there's going to be a level of confidence, but also a level of ego as well. And I feel like that might also, like, that's definitely probably the reason why they don't get someone else to help them, because then that's just a fight on their ego. That's just an attack on their ego.
Well, yeah, there's healthy ego and there's unhealthy ego. Like, you could have an ego.
If they lose that fight, there's no ego. Like, they've lost.
It's
do you know what I mean?
They buckle.
Like you said, the first couple fights that you lost, you know, it's like you learn the hard way. Either way, you're going to learn. You know, barring being, like we said, like gifted and just a little bit.
Man.
Hey,
not all of them learn. They go through their whole thing and they don't learn. This is where you've got to be like really. You've got to be like realistic and be like, all right, was this last however many months or years successful?
Yeah.
Like, not did you just tick the box of going for those runs? Like, did you get better?
The reality is, people like that, athletes like that, they have to exist. So the better ones can shine through.
Yeah.
They have to.
It's like stubborn, not open-minded, not willing to like intrinsically reflect and actually think, what can I do better? Not just blame external circumstances and stuff. And that's what defines a shit athlete a lot of the time.
That's why I'll never believe, like, if someone's applied to work with me and they're talking to me, I'll never believe a word that the fighter says until I see action. Implementation, because I've heard it all. Like, I'm never gonna,
as in, like, oh, I run this much, I do this, I do that, I eat good, I do that. You're like, I don't
I'll
believe
do whatever you
I
say.
That's fair.
I'm a great coachable athlete. Like, this is the problem I've been facing. It's like, cool. Well, I mean,
the story and reality is always different.
100%. I want to. People often inflate it out of an ego thing, but yeah, it's an interesting space. I'm super grateful to be in it. I'm very, very happy I made it.
You're killing it, dude. I mean, like, it looks like you're smashing it. 250 leads in the year.
It's fun. It's fun, man. It's
consults,
fun.
Actually.
Well, that's what happens when you're so actually passionate about something and you're in a space where you feel like this is, I guess, your purpose as a coach. Like, you probably lost touch with that as a powerlifting coach and as a strength coach and body composition, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, once you do find that passion, it's just... You just get an absolute, boost of energy towards it.
Oh, 100%.
You want to do everything and dive deep and all that kind of thing. And you know what? On that question, for other young coaches out there that might be stuck in the same, whether it's they're thinking about going towards combat sport coaching or whatever it is, what did you do from whether it was personal development, like upskilling, whatever it was, to get you to go from that powerlifting body comp coach to where you are now?
Yeah, it was like I harped on about before, like investing in yourself. It also applies to business, and that's exactly what I did. Like, I've the reason you can scroll down far enough on my Instagram and you'll see the shift. You'll see, like, the change in the style of content, the messaging, the number of people I worked with, and that point before that, all I was telling myself while I was powerlifting, while I was juggling fight preparation, was I'd be able to do it myself. And because I've always been a knowledgeable coach that's gotten results, but not to this volume, not to this level of impact. And it was because I fell victim to the unfortunate human nature.
Comfort.
Comfort, man. It's that. If you're a coach out there and you have a deep burning desire to want to help people, no matter who you're helping. For me, it's combat sport athletes. It might be for you, might be powerlifters for you, whoever it is. Do not get comfortable. Always be open to learning. If you've decided to go down the route of coaching, you are your own biggest investment. Invest in yourself, and for me that looked like figuring out how to film content properly and adjust my messaging.
Yep.
It was figuring out how to run the back end of a business properly. I'm still learning today. From when I started, I've invested at this point now, it's got to have been like over 50 grand in the last like however long, more than that. I've got to, probably should track it properly for my accountant, but I have. It's on paper somewhere. But I've spent, but all that money if I looked at that, as the old version of me 2 years ago, and you were going to tell me the future version of you is going to drop a lot of money on you to grow this business, I would have been like, why the fuck would you do that? No. I would have coddled myself. But then that money's come back, however many X.
So it would have cost you not spending it.
Exactly.
It would cost you more.
Exactly. What's the Hormozy quote? Like, if you want to be a millionaire, think about how much money you're making now. It costs you the difference of that to not be there every single year.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. That's all it is. And if you can collapse time, right? And we can bring it back to the coaching space here. And like, if you're a combat sport athlete and you can collapse time, which you really should, because it's a young man's game. Most combat sport athletes are going to stop before 30. Family comes about. Injuries come about. You're doing a cool thing. You're doing a fucking fantastic thing. The drawback of doing a cool thing, just like in powerlifting as well, combat sport at the highest level, there's a chance you're going to have a career-ending injury that you'll never come back from. Why not, whilst that time frame is so short within the full span of your life, or relative to the full span of your life, why not collapse the amount of time that it takes for you to get from where you are now to that national title you want, that UFC belt you want, by investing in a coach, by making sure you move gyms and get away from your skills coach who just wants you to do balls to the wall training year round and adapt to it and hope you survive, right? Like, there's also another thing a lot of fighters have to be able to do, adapt quickly. Combat sports are so dynamic. It's also it has to be dynamic in regards to the decisions you make for yourself every single day. Because a lot of skills coaches actually hold back their athletes for sure as well.
So, you go.
Well, this is a bit of a segue into back to something we spoke about.
I was just going to just get you to just go a little deeper into so you said that you got a mentor, and the mentor, or one of your old mentors, helped you a lot here. So you did a mentor, you spent money on courses. What else have you done? Or like, Like for the viewer that's like, I want to aspire to be, growing like Kyz is. What do they do?
Oh, for sure. The reason I brought that up as well, and I talk about the old version of myself, is because I spent it would have been 2 years looking at different people, hopping on calls with different mentors, because I was so skeptical of everything out there. And then I just bit the bullet one day, and I had a few people I wanted to look at, and I just said, I'm going to go with this one, and I just did it. The best thing I ever did. Because I actually love coaching. Like 4 years ago, I wanted to love it, but I couldn't, because I didn't have the skills. Now I got the skills. Now I can impact more athletes globally. If you're a younger coach and you're starting out, whether you're coaching your friends and family, whether you're trying to market for yourself, if there's a skill that you're missing, invest in someone who's ahead of you, collapse that time, and you'll speed the whole process.
I like what you're saying as well. Like your number one goal is like to impact more athletes.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
not like to run a business to make money. It's like, I want to help people get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
And then the rest.
One of my biggest goals with this business I am running is to build a massive performance brand over the next 10 years that also allows me to help younger coaches build their careers too. Right? That'd be the ultimate goal for me, to give someone a fantastic salary to help athletes just like I am, and help me within the business, and
of course impact more people.
Fly with them, or fly 100%. Like, I flew to Vegas earlier this year to help an athlete fighting on the Dana White Contender Series. Shout out to Antoine Ho from Arizona, fantastic athlete, and shout out to their team for helping me get out there. And the opportunity was amazing. Got to see Dana White in the flesh, and it was fucking unreal being at the apex. Those opportunities, if you're a young coach out there, they're not far away. Like, I literally dreamt about that a year ago, being able to get flown overseas to go help an athlete. And it just took me like believing that I could do it, and it wouldn't have happened if I didn't, put some cash behind it, put the time and effort behind it, and
learn, grow, take risk, all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
I wanted to, I guess, give the listeners a little bit more context. I know before we were talking about the more traditional approach versus like a more sort of, I guess, scientifically informed approach, specifically in regards to weight cuts, because I think a lot of people that don't follow combat sports don't know how like grueling and honestly like near to death those athletes get when they're cutting weight. Could you give us like the more traditional approach, like a bit of a rundown of what that entails and, how much they might be losing and things of that nature?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. The old school approach, if we're looking at like, let's say 2 weeks out from a fight, old school approach is a very aggressive water load where athletes are having like 9 liters of water a day, and then they're like slowly bringing that down, really putting a lot of stress on the kidneys. They're cutting out carbs and salt completely a week out, and they're trying to do a lot of aggressive shit to rapidly alter body water contents. On fight week, it gets worse as well. Like a lot of them, even now, it's still in place now. I think it's still pretty common. Like people just sit in the sauna that's way too hot to cut off the last bit of sweat, and you've seen it in the like a lot of the Brazilian athletes. Like part of the reason like Alex Pereira would have gone up in weight as well. His last weight cut was super easy on his YouTube channel. I encourage everyone to watch that because he's gone up a weight class. A lot of people need to go up a weight class. That's a traditional thing as well. Cut as much weight as you can, get the advantage. But the traditional approach is very, very aggressive, not science-based, obviously, and it puts the athlete at a lot of harm. There's no guarantee, even if you do things through the science-based approach, that there's it's a healthy thing anyway. Cutting weight is the antithesis of health.
Not many sports are that healthy.
It's not a healthy thing regardless. You want to make sure if you're doing it in a more healthy way. Part of that comes from the foundation you lay beforehand. That's the biggest thing. That's why I want athletes to work with me for a longer period so we can undo the years of mistakes of, okay, maybe you're tracking calories, or why are you having 1,800 calories, An athlete now that comes into a fight from 16 weeks out that has, that 45 to 50 calories per kilo sort of thing, and they're eating upwards of 400 grams of carbs, and they have a base of 3,000 plus calories at their maintenance. It's so much easier for them to make weight because they have a base to pull from. The old school, I'd say there's no base to pull from, and you're trying to fight year round. You're being super aggressive with your weight cut. The sweating is too aggressive. It's that's the old school. The new school, which I'm obviously in the camp of, is planning a bit more closely.
Be halfway there, man.
Yeah, exactly. You're planning closely. You're in a controlled a calorie deficit that has you losing weight at the right rate based on working backwards from how far you're out from a fight. And on fight week, the water load can be there if it needs to, but we go through what's called the minimum effective dose. All these strategies that people have used for ages, they work, but you've got to use a minimum effective dose. Don't jump in a bath that's 50 degrees. That can lead to overheating. Get in a bath that's 40 degrees when you're doing your 20-minute rounds. Use cooling strategies. Plan ahead. Understand that if you have a big base, all you got to do is manipulate carbohydrates, fiber on fight week from 4 days out rather than 2 weeks out. You can still train nicely up until the fight. With all that in mind, imagine how that feeds into the next fight camp and the next fight camp and the next fight camp. An athlete who's followed the newer school approach, they can take a fight on a whim if they want to. Okay, you got a fight booked in for 16 weeks from now. Anything can come up. Someone could pull out in 2 weeks from now, but you've been all year laying a base of calories. You've been training really well in the weight room. You're fit, you're healthy, you're still consistent because you love what you're doing now. You have energy to show up for your sport. Now you can fight on 2 weeks' notice if you need to.
You're saying as well, like they're leaner than your traditional athlete would be year round. Like they're not overweight, cutting everything out in the last minute.
Yeah.
So they can take those fights quicker,
absolutely,
on shorter notice. There's one other thing I was going to say I forgot as well, big time. Yeah, I forgot it. No psoriasis today. No psoriasis today.
Well, yeah, I mean, you used to, and you still hear cases of it here and there, but like athletes will die cutting weight, going for a 15K run in a plastic sweatsuit when they're already completely depleted. And I mean, even if, that's an extreme example, but I mean, you're getting in a ring to fight somebody, like you're having trauma to your body, to your brain. Like you want to get into that setting as healthy as you can be, rather than just completely, depleted of everything.
100%.
I remember what I was going to say. Let's go on.
I've even seen athletes that I've had athletes that come to me and I've looked at their situation from the outside, and I get them straight away. I'm a bit skeptical. If I can get an athlete to go up a weight class, I always will make them go up a weight class as well, because that can be just an absolute game changer. I get them to do a DEXA scan.
In you, bro.
But even then, because some athletes don't realize, for them genetically, they'll perform their best at a high body fat percentage. They can make weight consistently year round, and it's still going to be tough. But they're just doing ridiculous shit to get down to the other weight class target, and they're on the scales fucking nearly passing out and shit. Yeah,
being strong and somewhat muscly as well is going to be a benefit if they can move at a similar sort of pace, right? And like if you get someone who's 6 foot tall and they want to compete under 70s, it's like, dude, in 4 or 5 years, like you should be like 85 kilos of muscle, pretty lean. We need to be like, you don't click your fingers overnight. I'm going up a weight class now. I've got 5 kilos of muscle on. It takes years to put 5 kilos of muscle on.
100%.
You know what I mean? So there's also that. I remember what I was going to say as well. Fuck me, bro.
No, it's got to be in there somewhere.
Give me like 10 seconds of silence, and I'll remember it.
Moment of silence.
Oh yeah. So they, the traditional approach, they come in feeling dog shit for their fight. They pushed everything too hard. They're fatter than they need to be. They probably didn't build as much muscle as they should have been. They're under 8 for years. Like what you just said before, like stacking those layers. What about them like having higher chances of actually winning each of those fights and not going through the, I lost another fight, should I give up? I lost another fight, should I give up? What about like actually coming in prepared, recovered, not burnt out, like actually strong on the day, having a higher chance of winning more fights along the way, and being more invested in the whole sport, invested in nutrition, invested in everything, invested in this, invested in that, probably winning money along the way. I'm not sure if they win money.
It depends on the level they're at, but yeah, to me it doesn't make sense if it's all you do and you're of the age where you've worked and you support yourself and you don't have an S&C coach and a nutritionist. Like you're literally just letting your opponent increase their chances of winning.
Even if you're winning fights, like you're gifted, like you will most likely be further ahead if you have the right support.
And that's the thing. Like you could take an athlete who's 6-0, 6 knockouts, does everything decently okay. You give them you figure out they're making a couple mistakes. They could keep winning. They could lose their next fight, but even in the long term, it does win or lose. You'd want to make sure you're doing the right thing as an athlete as well as a fighter. Yeah, and that again, there's the guarantee. The only guarantee you can, I guess, make is that you're going to put in the right effort for yourself as an athlete. And I think it's a bit hypocritical if you say you want to be like X fighter and you're not doing what they're doing, which is building a team around you for sure.
100%. Very good. Now we are cracking onto the hour mark. We've got one question for Q&A. We'll rip it out.
Let's hit it.
I've got to go into the archive for this one. We don't have time for any of the other questions that we got asked. We only had one question.
That's all right. while Jace looks for that, when you transitioned into combat sports coaching, did you do all your own content?
My content? Yeah.
Like at the start, were you filming and editing all your reels and stuff as well?
Yeah, it was me. It was me and my missus.
Wow.
Shout out to my fiance Shanae.
I remember this actually.
Yeah. That was up until before I met you. Like, yeah. But even then, like I realized that was my situation. How can I teach her a few things? How can I teach myself a few things about this? And it got better and better. But yeah, it was me. Then I'm like, I can't do this anymore. My missus saw it. I'm gonna help you. And yeah, I figured out how to script better content, and
you put out good content. If anyone is a coach and is watching and makes Instagram reels or tries to sell to whatever, go and watch Kyz's content.
We call it Kyz style reels.
Kyz style,
we need to make some Kyz style reels, guys.
Yeah, get in people's faces, man. It's the only way you can get what you need.
Talk fast.
You have
to the point.
Be intentional.
Proper pain points, man.
Give people value at the same time, but none of it would be possible without you guys. This beautiful facility, Lockie's talents as well. So
I make reels every single day, non-stop, and I make them all pretty similar. You put the words together on screen properly. It's literally in the results of the views you get on your videos. I think last year I made over 260 reels, And then the reels that we've made, like, in the top 0.1% of some of the views that we get.
Yeah.
Like, and that, it's not the camera. A good camera doesn't create views. It's fucking good content. And you produce good content, so people need to go and watch it.
I don't say, I'm start blushing, man.
His head's growing. Hey, this is the question. How to balance weights / Muay Thai? Can you can you do pro fights and lift weights for hypertrophy? We sort of mentioned it a little bit.
Yeah, of course you can. Hypertrophy should always be in the program. It's just depending on how far you are from a fight. Like study the vertical integration model. If you're going to do anything and you want to figure out how to train for yourself, if you are an information guy and you're watching this, and maybe like the person who asked the question, look at the vertically integrated model of training. All qualities should be worked at the same time. We've got speed and power, we've got strength, we've got hypertrophy, accessories and conditioning. If you're 16 weeks out from a fight, it should probably be a 50 and 30 split of hypertrophy and strength. The remainder can be your accessory work and conditioning, where you're maybe just maintaining your aerobic base, right? You know you're going to fight pretty far away. We get closer and closer, those percentages change to the point where we're just applying a maintenance dose to your hypertrophy training and lifting to still maintain those qualities. So you still have a good baseline as an athlete, but then as we get closer, you're a striker, you're a grappler, you probably want more speed and power qualities in your training, whether it's contrast training, overcoming isometrics, really high velocity sort of stuff that isn't so fatiguing but garners a massive return from a neural standpoint, so you can strike better, be more efficient, withstand the demands of your sport. There's pie charts out there that display this perfectly, but 100% you just have to look at the total volume of your strength and hypertrophy training. The closer you get to a fight, still keep it in. It's not going to harm you. If anything, it'll benefit you, keep you more robust. Take it from generally half the volume of your total training that you're doing, and then bring it down to like 15% gradually as you get close to a competition.
So I think I'm gonna add to this, because I think this person is essentially they've asked it like in a way that you've answered it perfectly, but I think they're saying, can I be a bodybuilder and Muay Thai?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm with you.
Like just like you can't. Fighting isn't something you can half-ass and be one.
Not actually a bodybuilder on stage, sorry, but train like a bodybuilder, look good on the beach, and be a fighter. I'm with you on the no. Like you'll probably have to do way less than your standard, right? Why is that ringing?
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's not on silent.
It was on silent. No, Dad's an emergency contact.
Oh, okay.
Dad's an emergency contact. Got my watch back as his emergency contact once, yeah.
The beauty of it is, if you're eating better, if you're training your ass off, you're becoming a better athlete. You don't need that much of a strength and hypertrophy stimulus in your training to fucking look good on the beach. You don't. You can honestly get the best of both worlds.
From doing less as well.
100%.
You're gonna, if you take somebody that thinks that they're gonna train as a bodybuilder, or like Muay Thai and bodybuilding or hypertrophy training, I guarantee you coaching them, you will get them better at both.
100%.
Like they're probably thinking in their mind, he's gonna pigeonhole me into like,
why am I doing half the amount of sets?
Yeah, and like my strength training and stuff in the gym is going to take a hit. But what they don't understand is fatigue masks fitness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if fatigue masks fitness and you're always fatigued, it doesn't matter what qualities you're trying to improve, whether that's muscle size, strength, whatever, or their actual skills in their sport, but all of it cops a hit.
100%.
And if you, as a coach, are doing the right things, which we know you are, you're going to get them better at all of it. And that's where people that are on the other side of that, sales call or whatever it is with you, that consult call, need to understand that it's like you're going to improve everything. That's your job. Your job isn't just to make them, better at, I don't know, the fighting in itself. It's make them a better athlete, and a better athlete is way more well-rounded than just one little pigeonholed kind of skill or something.
100%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so I think we've sort of answered that question. You can train hypertrophy, but hypertrophy doesn't mean training like a bodybuilder and having the same goals as a bodybuilder in line with Muay Thai. When you bring Muay Thai in, you're probably going to have to drop off a little bit of hypertrophy, right?
Not to say you can't do both, but if you want to fight, like put more emphasis into fighting.
That's your priority.
That's your priority. Do the skill as much as you can, as much as you can tolerate. And the beauty of like people just they can't grasp their head around this. If you just stick to a plan that's consistent for a long time, if you're consistent with a plan for a long time, you're going to gain some muscle, and that muscle you gain, you can maintain very easily as well. Like I haven't done powerlifting style, hypertrophy style training as my primary focus for my training for years, and you know, my physique looks the same as it did 2 years ago. Not when I was powerlifting and I was stronger. I'm just leaner. Yeah, I could still deadlift 200 kilos right now if I wanted to as well. But what's the use of me deadlifting 270?
Bring the barbell up.
I could load it up. I'll fucking do it. It might be sumo, but what's it called?
That's cheating, bro.
It is. I'm sorry. On the deadlift bar too with straps. But yeah, it's an interesting one, man. A lot of people are half in, half out. Go all in all aspects, and you'll live a fucking better life because of it.
That's it. So we're coming to the end of it. Thanks for your time, Kyz.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thanks to the viewers for watching or listening. Any questions, drop them below. If you guys have questions for Kyz, drop them below or message him. If you drop them below, we'll pass them on to Kyz. Thanks for watching. Kyz, thanks for your time. Before we go, we mentioned it once already, but how can they find you? You got YouTube, you got Instagram, you got TikTok, you got where you guys your email. Go spit it all out. Where do you live?
All socials, Coburg. No, all socials. CoachKyz, Coach KYZ everywhere.
Yep. Unbelievable. And to reach out, have a conversation with you, you prefer it over Instagram or anything like that?
Give me a DM if you've got a question that you need answering. I'll do my best to get around to you.
And if someone wants to have a proper conversation, like do you do like a consultation? Like what's the first step before they give you money?
For sure. If you jump through the link in my bio, there's a form there. If you're needing the help, anything I've said in this podcast you listen to has resonated with you, there's I can find out some more details about you. Feel free to have a chat and ask me any questions about what I do for athletes. But take some time to just go through my Instagram, look at the results I've generated with athletes, and if any of it resonates with you, don't hesitate, take the leap. It could be the best decision you make as a fighter.
Let's go. Done. Guys, thanks for watching. Boys, well done.
Appreciate you guys.
Adios.
GG's.
Beautiful.